I wanted to move up. So I wanted to do something different. I wanted to expand. I wanted to grow. And that's what this was all about, by saying, you know, no more of that. I want some more of this. I want y'all to see this. You didn't like that? Well, you definitely ain't gonna like this. So what I would tell, you know, anybody who would listen to me is that, you know, you gotta start peeping game. Peeping the game. The game is the game of life. You gotta start peeping how they doing it. And if you see it, you can see the little signs that says that the guns are turning away from, you know, Europe and Russia and Iran and Iraq, and they're turning to us. Because look how they're doing our music. You know, you've never seen in no time in history where they've put so much attention on some music. You know what I mean? And made it like we are the cause of all these problems. You can look at it with the 3 strikes law. You can look at it where they're building more jails. They're starting to sell jail space. You know, jail is big business. Believe me, I'm in jail. I see the big business. They charge you for your telephone calls. They charge you for disciplinary problems. Jail is big business. You know, you can feed a whole town off one jail. This jail is in the middle of a town that feeds everybody. Everybody works here. This is the main income. So if there was no criminals, nobody would work. You know what I mean? So if we don't start peeping that, we're in trouble. Also, I know when I was young, the way they describe jail is like, you know, blah, 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 blah. I couldn't wait to get to jail. Straight up. I mean, I was scared and everything. But
what, 3 hugs in the cart? Or
no question. It was just that's where you get the game. That's where you got more soldiers at that build you. But now that I'm here, this is not the spot. I know everybody go to jail, come out and say, this ain't the spot. This is not the spot. You got somebody that tells you when you can get up, when you can shower, when you can do this, when you can do that. You know, they can speak to you any way they want to, and you gotta accept it. You can die here, you know what I mean? Just yesterday, a dude was murdered. He wasn't in here on no murder beef. This dude was in here on a drug beef. You know, he's gone, he's dead in jail. You know what I mean? By another prisoner who had life. He had nothing to lose, you know what I mean? So when you start looking at it like that, you'll start seeing that it just don't weigh out to be in our favor. So we need to start figuring out another way. Now, if we do want to live a thug life and a gangster life and all of that, okay. So stop being cowards and let's have a revolution. But we don't want to do that. Dudes just want to live a character. They want to be cartoons. But if they really wanted to do something, they was that tough, all right, let's start our own country. Let's start a revolution. Let's get out of here. Let's do something. But they don't want to do that. They want to pimp our communities and portray this image that they know we all can't survive and make it. And that's what I saw. Even though I was surviving in the thug life, everybody that was trying to be like me was going to jail. And then finally I went to jail. Even though I wasn't getting shot up, they was all getting shot up. Then I got shot up. And I started seeing, damn, you know, it is my fault. It's not my fault where I made it happen, but it's my fault because I'm smarter than that. Now, if I was dumb and I was ignorant is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Now, if I was dumb, it'd be cool. It wouldn't be my fault. But it's my fault because I'm smarter than that. I do have another way I can say this. It doesn't mean that I don't feel that way no more. It just means that let me be as smart as them or smarter.
All right, knowing what you know, what do you think about youth and gang violence in America, especially in the black communities and Hispanic communities? Youth and gang violence.
I think, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for it. I think gangs can be positive. It just has to be organized and it has to steer away from being self-destructive to being self-productive. I think this country was built on gangs. You know, I think this country still is run on gangs. Republicans, Democrats, the police department, the FBI, the CIA, those are gangs. You know what I mean? The correctional officers. I had a correctional officer tell me straight up, we the biggest gang in New York State. Straight up, you know what I mean? So this whole country is built on gangs. We just have to not be so self-destructive about it. Organize, you know?
But the violence.
The violence, but it's violence in America. What did the USA just do flying to Bosnia? We ain't got no business over there. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. How can they tell us not to have gang? You know what gang violence is? Mostly, and the people don't want you to hear this, somebody shoots your family member. So of course you retaliate. You know what I mean? Same thing the US does, except nobody even shot their family members. You know, they see somebody bomb a school and all these people get killed, so the United States feel like, oh, that's messed up, we gotta go show them who's the real killers. That's the same mentality these gangsters get. You know what I mean? So until they stop that mentality, we won't stop. Or they won't stop. Because they watch this country to see what they do. America is the biggest gang in the world. You know what I mean? Look at how they didn't agree with Cuba. So what was the cut them off? That's what we do in the street. We block things off. I want to say stop the violence. I want to say the violence ain't good. And
Why,
they know
why
it's
can't
not
you
good.
say that then?
Because that's not realistic. I know it's not good. If anybody speak up against violence, it'll be the brother that got shot 5 times. I got shot twice in my hair, all up in. Trust me, violence ain't cool. And they know violence ain't cool. Ain't nobody out there with a gun saying it's cool to be shooting people. It's just, you know, it's certain situations where there is no way out. But there are situations where we can find a way out. But until we find that way out, we can't say not to live this lifestyle. Now, too, we as black men, Puerto Ricans, whatever, till we stand up and start taking control of our communities, we can't get mad at anybody who stands up to do anything. You know what I mean? So I believe that it's the community that needs to do something about it. I do believe that there's a piece of liability on the drug dealers and the gangsters and the gangs and all of that, but these are not scholars. You know what I mean? We pay taxes. We pay taxes. This government is not doing anything to stop it. When the people in LA, after the rebellion, when we stopped and there was a truce, nothing happened. Did we get any jobs? No. Did we get any relief? No. But every time there's a flood, an earthquake, or a thunderstorm, America will give mad millions to somebody because their house broke down. They don't care if we stop the violence or not. They don't care about gang violence. You know what I mean? Every time that Bosnia gets shot up, any place gets shot up, they send them a whole bunch of millions in food and packages from Somalia, everywhere. Everybody getting food but us. So we don't want the gang violence to stop. So they can't ask me to tell them to stop the violence, because I can't tell nobody who's hungry what to do unless I'm ready to feed them. Then I'll tell them what to do.
How can gangs be positive in the community?
Regulate our community. If you got somebody dealing drugs in the community, make them pay for the community center. Make them have hours that they can work on that block. You know what I mean? And if they don't want to listen, then you turn against them. Be security in your own neighborhood. You know what I mean? If we so strong as gangs and as hustlers and as G's and as thugs or whatever, it should be no rapes, there should be no violence, there should be no gunshots in our community unless we the ones sparking it, unless we doing that to somebody that's trying to infiltrate or break down our community. You know what I mean? All this money that we make in the streets, we should bring it back and turn it back into the community. We need to have block parties again. We need to have leagues, you know, summer leagues and football teams and basketball teams. We need to start taking care of our own. That's how it can be positive. It can be positive when we start, you know, sending these young G's to school, sending the younger G's to college. You know, let them come back and build something.
Okay, this interview was conceived